Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome once again to Robcast. Here is Zombie, all you little maniacs, and guess what? Here we go. Alright. I have all of you little maniacs been, as you all know, we like to start off your show because it is your show. We like to start off your show by saying thank you. A quick shout out, a quick thank you to the Army, to the Navy, to the Air Force, and to the Marines for doing what? For doing what you bad motherfuckers do to keep our country free. And while we're saying thank you, we also like to say thank you to the firefighters, to the EMTs, and last, but definitely not least, to the boys in blue, back the badge. To support your local peace officers, because hey, whenever all of us average, normal, everyday Joes run away from danger, all of these bad motherfuckers are trained to run straight into it, and for that, Robcast will always give them respect. So rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen, how have all of you little maniacs been? Let's see. You may hear a couple of barking dogs in the background, and I can tell you that that's just life. I'm lucky to be able to have a few moments to sit down with all of you little maniacs and, catch up, see what's been going on in this crazy world. An election year, right? So that's it, a couple of interesting things we may be talking about on the show. But first, what we will do, I want to talk a little bit about Alanis Morissette. And I know one of the things about the show that I'm always talking about, improving upon the show, bringing you little maniacs better sound quality and material, etc. But first, I've got to make the time to sit down and actually bring you a Robcast. And so what our mantra is that we're not quite ready for prime time, and we don't make excuses, we make shit happen. So that means that we bring you what we've got when we've got it. It's live, uncut, and unrated. And for that, we want to thank you all for tuning in. That's the way we kind of like it, without hitting any kind of editing or anything like that. But what we can do is just pause the show for a moment. I think I'll go get me a fresh cup of Folgers breakfast blend coffee, and we'll come back and we'll have us maybe a nice little conversation, see what's going on in this crazy world of ours. So thank you very much for tuning in on a Monday morning. Woo! It's Monday, and I'm blessed enough to be sitting here with you little maniacs instead of being out there in the oil field right now. But hey, don't fret, my pet, because it could happen at any minute. The phone could go off, and then I'm out of here. But other than that, it seems like it's going to be a beautiful day today. I don't know. The glass is always half full. And there's always a creative solution out of your situation. I tend to have to prove it to myself time and time again. Well, remind me to remind you all to let you know all the different ways to follow the show. And we will get into that a little bit later. But first, I'm going to go coffee up. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm glad all you little maniacs have joined us this morning. And we're going to talk a little bit of crazy smack. And we may just vent. Could vent about our day. We could tell you a joke. You never know what's going to go on up in here. You definitely might hear a dog bark. Might hear a cat meow. But we will be back in 2 shakes of lamb's tail. That's what my thermos says. You're right, Flip. I mean, we'll always have a chance, whether there's dogs barking or what have you. And that was 2 shakes, right? Just sit down and talk with you little maniacs. See what's going on in this world. And I guess I promised the dogs barking, didn't I? Let's see what's what here. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what are you doing? Is there a burglar? All right, come on. All right. Oh, thanks, Flip, for actually pausing us for just a moment. As you can see, we did have a little bit of puppy gallerying. Hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? Get in there. Get back in here, then. Good boy. Nope. Okay, there we go, then. All right. Okay, so sorry about that, boys and girls. Okay, back to the subject at hand. And I guess you can just do this on your own as a little project as to Alanis Morissette. We all know her as the super hip, hot, rocking and rolling, just don't give a fuck. Got one hand in my pocket and the other hand is telling you to go fuck yourself. I mean, if you go back through her catalog of music from the beginning of what I thought was the beginning of Alanis Morissette, was like the Jagged Little Pill, correct? Like that was an album that everyone had whenever it came out. It was unbelievable. It still is to this day. It holds up to the test of time. It's got some nice grooves. It's got some nice, I mean, everything about it. And again, we do have phones ringing. We got dogs barking. Going crazy. Brutus. Okay, sorry. Woohoo! You love a live Robcast. Okay, so a couple of interesting facts about Alanis Morissette that you all may know, but I thought that was kind of interesting and a little bit intriguing even. First is that she had a career before anyone in America ever knew who Alanis Morissette was. And she was actually a pop star whenever she was a teenager. And I did not know this. I think I was watching some kind of Canadian television program, and it showed Alanis, just her first name only. You know, remember we had Tiffany? It was, I mean, I would say the equivalent of Tiffany in Canada, but it was Alanis. So when we were having, I think We're Alone Now, Debbie Gibson, Tiffany, and the other, you know, there was another couple here in America that were very similar. But I mean, again, is it the music that takes you back to that time? You know what I'm saying? And I wonder what I guess I'm answering my own questions as I ask them to you little maniacs. All of these artists have their time in history and their place in history, and I just thought that it was interesting that Alanis was the Canadian version of our Tiffany. And I'm not trying to, say that she was a bad artist or anything like that. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I would have liked her music here. I don't see how or why she didn't cross over to America a lot earlier. I'm glad she didn't, and we never saw that side of her because it sold all of us on Jagged Little Pill and how raw she was. However, I didn't realize that when she came to America. I'm not quite sure how old she was. It was a little while. Maybe a little while before Jagged Little Pill was recorded. And before that, she did have kind of a crispy, clean image of the pop star that was, gonna, with the right this and the right that she would be making some hit records of the day. Well, she took destiny into her own hands when she was dealt the sad card of Hollywood, and just what really goes on whenever you move to the West Coast of America and you think that it's all in your life, that everything that you've been waiting for all of your hopes and your dreams, and you've worked so hard all the way up to this point, and you get there and you do everything that everyone says, and it turns out that it's very disappointing, and that there are a lot of people that are not telling you 100%, if any percent, what's actually going on. And it's almost like it's just lip service that everyone does in that scene, in the music scene, in the acting scene, and all of the above. And it's this, what actually I think kind of may have broken her down into the person that she became, was the heartache and the heartbreak and the disappointment that Hollywood and that the record producers and that all of the above, going and being so excited and proud to be part of the it crowd and the in crowd, and not knowing what exactly that is until you get there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like before the first day of school. You have you have in your imagination what it could be. And then when you get there, it's never the same. It's always something totally different. Even if you went there last year to the same exact school, it's always different the way that these things turn out. I definitely think it's a good thing. And right now is where I will recommend that you go and just look up Alanis. I'm thinking from the late 80s, early 90s. Late 80s, yeah, Alanis, Canadian pop star. And it's interesting because she's got the high hair and the, I don't know, she's got the hair-sprayed hair and the poofy shoulders, and she's always been an amazing artist. But I mean, if you would have given that, don't give that to me whenever I was 16, 17, 18. So I probably would have become a cokehead and died on and probably would have died on a high horsepower motorcycle. Not really, probably not that. I probably would have OD'd, because I have OD'd in my life, probably, I don't know what, at least a few times. And then just kind of woke back up, slept it off, and woke back up. So, woo! That's another blessing to count on a Monday. You know what I'm saying? Is to be beyond those types of temptations in your life. But back to Alanis Morissette. She gets to Hollywood. She does her thing, right? Record producers and all that. And out of heartache and disappointment, and I'm not even 100% sure how disappointed she was. I just know that she turned from that squeaky clean innocence. Maybe the innocence just got rearranged into reality of how this shit really works. And that's whenever she set out and started and wrote Jagged Little Pill. And I did not know this. I know that You Ought to Know, right? I've always thought that was a great song. That was kind of one of her come out, like one of the first that I heard of hers. And I thought, this bitch is bad. You know what I mean? She's badass. So you've never heard You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Go check it out. Listen to it, right? And then think to yourself, who was that song written about? So we're going to ponder that for just a moment. Who was You Ought to Know written about? Do you know this? Don't Google it. Fucking think about it for a minute. Think. Late 80s, mid 80s, hot in Hollywood. So rock and roll. Let me check on the dogs. Let me wrangle them. Let me round them up. Let me see what's up with that. And I'll be right back to you little maniacs in one Alabama second. All right. That was Alanis on Jagged Little Pill album. I did not realize this, but Dave Navarro and Flea were on that album, and they were some of the musical genius behind you ought to know. And in the future, yes, I would like to add another, like a laptop. The last laptop that we had for Robcast, it started quirking out, so I didn't really want to use it on the air. And now we will grab another one or something upgraded so that we would be able to bring you some audio nuggets. We're not going to talk about well, the dogs got me thrown just a little bit. However, you never know, depending on what the rain does. I could, like I say, could get called in at any moment. The rain's good because that means then I have to go to work. Yeah, we don't get rained out. We get rained down. So if you haven't checked out Matt Boyd, if you work in any kind of refinery, any kind of a plant, pipeline, oil industry, anything related, you would implore you to check out Refined. Matt Boyd. He's a great musician and a great animator, writer, producer. He does a little bit of everything with the incredible team that he has. So check out Matt Boyd Animation. Check out Refined on YouTube. You will not be disappointed if you like funny things, if you like a funny cartoon, something to ease the time. If you're sitting there glancing, just looking at a gauge every 10 minutes to see if it's changed or if it's going around in circles the wrong way, or if you're hitting cycle start on that CNC machine, or if you've got some kind of a badass ride your paint booth and you're waiting for that paint to dry enough so you can pull the tape off of that motherfucking bad motherfucker. Woo! Check out Boyd Animation Refined. So yeah, rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Alanis Morissette, known in Canada just as Alanis, and she was their pop star back in the day. And I went back, I should go back to her library, play each one of her old pop albums and see if anything really kind of jumps out. Because, being from that era, I happen to like any kind of that old pop music. I'll go back and listen to it once or twice. Some things are not meant to ever be listened to, just like the Macarena, baby. If it would have never came out, this world would be a better place, right? Mambo number 5, my God. Woo! If you weren't around, they just played some of these songs until the wheels actually fell off of them. And that's another thing that everyone has the same problem as far as with terrestrial radio and playing the same 7 to 9 to 12 or however many songs, maybe 20 songs, whether it's classic rock, country, whatever the fuck it is. If you listen more than a few hours, you're going to hear the same song. Anyway, I don't want to be sounding like the same song. It is Monday, and we are blessed that we woke up on the right side of the dirt today. So paint a clear vision of your future, ladies and gentlemen. Paint a clear motherfucking vision of your future. No one else is going to do that shit for you. You hear me? I'm saying? Like, I know that, this week I need to put in some hours. I need to take care of some shit. I need to get ready for springtime. Because that's when we'll not have a problem getting any hours. And I'll probably happen to be doing the Robcast from out in the field, which I'm prepared to do such. We'll add a couple of other media devices to where we can do this remotely and anywhere away from the Wi-Fi if we need to. But it's been a little bit tougher to build capital whenever personally I'm trying to pay off our family's property that we have down south. My brother's living there now. It's everything's gravy, and it is kind of nice to have a caretaker there taking care of the place. So I really appreciate that. It seems like sometimes the stars are lining up. You have to dealing with some cock knockers out in the field. Who doesn't have to deal with a couple of cock knockers in their life? Yeah, it can be a little bit demanding. It can be a little bit silly. And I've always talked about not chugging on the company cock because of the fucking politics involved. And here I am, doing it to it, baby. I'll be the first to admit it. Fuck. Anyway, we're gonna back to Dave Navarro and Flea collaborate with Alanis Morissette. The song You Oughta Know. Every time I scratch my nails down someone else's back, I hope you feel it. Oh, can you feel it? I'm still alive and I'm here to remind you of the mess you made when the mess you left when you went away. That one. Forgive me for fucking your speakers up. It's a good jam though, man. I like to karaoke that shit. You ought to know. Oh, man. Anyway. Now I'm thinking of only the lyrics to that song in my head. But you ought to know. Who was that written about? Well, guess who that was written about? Dave Coulee. You said who? Dave Coulee. From, that's right, Full House and Fuller House. Uncle Joey. That's right. Uncle Joey broke little Alanis' heart when she came to Hollywood. He laid that Hollywood smack down. Dave Coulee dick on her, and then took it away. Just like he knew that he was destined to be such a bigger star than she was ever dreamed to be. So yes, it broke her heart. It fucked her up. Now, that make you think about that song and think about, what was he? A wannabe stand-up comedian that got some kind of a deal. Because I don't know what he was on ever before Full House. If anything at all. I never particularly cared for Full House. Never really watched Fuller House other than a couple of episodes that, just to see what it was about. Dave Coulee, even being from that era, never really was particularly fond of anything that he was really a part of other than Alanis. I would have been interested in Alanis, and definitely have always liked Alanis Morissette. As far as her music goes, as far as her as a personal person, yes, I know I've never sat down and spoken to her one-on-one. Hey, our lives are young. You never know. It could happen tomorrow. So that's kind of an interesting fact about Alanis Morissette. Uncle Joey and Alanis were a thing. And then You Oughta Know comes out. And you can even... there is actually a reference to that on Fuller House. Where the chick that's in trouble now for fucking lying on the college intro resume, that her daughters were fucking astronauts and that they knew microbiology or heart surgery and shit like that, and turns out that she just gave them like $500,000 and they faked a bunch of shit and put them on the rowing team and the scrotum team and the let's go party and fucking, oh man, the world that we live in. It's a fucking read between the lines world that we live in. You kind of have to, they say that reality is what you make of it. And it really is getting more and more to where what I see every day and what you see every day could be two completely different things. Even if we're sitting, 5 feet apart. especially because these motherfuckers are tuned into their mobile devices instead of the world around you. And don't get it twisted, the world around you is real. And the world inside this device that I'm communicating through all of you two, that's a little bit of I'm not going to say it's not real. It's just not 100% real. But I think that the problem is the desensitization. Of our society, desensitizing of our society to the point that they do believe that whenever you make a friend on Facebook, or if you get a new follower, that person in real life might actually pull over and stop and help you if you had car trouble. And that's not it at all. That's not the real thing. There are real people out there, and if you stay in touch with them over social media, that's one thing. What we used to call keeping it real, man, I don't think anyone really keeps it real anymore. Not just like by speaking the truth, but by, now we've got truthers out there that are truth in everything. You know, I mean, come on, there's too much. Anything in abundance can kill you. You can eat too many oranges and you will fucking croak from going overdosing on vitamin C straight up. So, you know, take it in moderation. What the fuck? Or used for its proper, you know, whenever it's properly used. As far as having an internet that touches you to me to everyone else across this planet, it's a fucking badass tool whenever we use it, what it's designed for, and that is for our message, and whatever that might be, to be able to go out to the masses. But don't get it fucked up. You've got to be responsible for that message that you put out there too. So why not try to make it something positive, right? Try to encourage people. Try to tell people that no one else is going to paint a clear vision of their future. Or to start out with little things like performing every task, no matter how small, no matter how big, to the best of your ability. And that will add up to success. Period. You know, if you're not in a position that you need to be in, there's always a creative solution. You just have to use your fucking brain a little bit. People are relying too much on, I Googled it. I looked at the reviews. That's another one that's kind of new to me. Like I had a motorcycle, looking at the reviews, and that also desensitizing. There you go, desensitizing. I was putting an extra syllable in it, man. We do that sometimes. MCs sometimes add extra syllables just to give it a little bit more sexy. But desensitizing to what is real and what you can actually depend on in this world. And it's not likes or views or whatever, because if that was it, everyone that got 1 million views and then quit, or that got 1 million views and then did another video and it only got 11 or 136. How disappointing is that? So what we do at Robcast is we're just going to press forward. Well, we're going to be here tomorrow and next week and next month and next year, just like we have been for the past 6 years. And we're not going anywhere. Oh. And what I'm kind of thinking, what I'm kind of hoping happens is that this big flood of, there's such a thing as too much information at one time. You know what I mean? Like if we go, I love the fact that anyone can have their own YouTube channel, including myself. But I think we all need to think to ourselves. Let's think just a little bit about the content that we're putting out there and being a little bit more responsible about how that's going to affect stamping our time, you know what I mean, in history. Like, what were we really all about? Like, we're just trying to, I've seen when the podcasting and the YouTube movement has gone forward to where now you have to worry about, okay, first there was no money unless you just went completely viral, and then then it went to where pretty much anyone could get on there, and if you did your thing and you had the right what do they say, what's that, the computer term, come on, Flip, help me out here, help me out, come on, it's the zeros and ones binary code. That if you have the right algorithm, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Flip. No fucking help at all. If you have the right algorithm that got to where you could make a healthy living, that brought on monetization. Monetize your YouTube channel or your podcast, and you'll make a healthy living. And then it got to where, okay, once we gave you this, we can take it away. Well, that you've monetized, now we can demonetize any of these videos or any of this audio that we deem that's not sufficient or proper to put on either YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or any of whatever other platforms. So I think that everything will come around full circle, that the real motherfuckers will stay real, and they'll be on here, they'll be talking their cash shit another year from now. And a lot of the people, like I've heard on some other podcasts other than Robcast, there is more than just one, believe it or not. There's other podcasts, which Robcast is a podcast. What else would it be, right? Where else in the world would you want to go? We could vent about our day. We could tell a joke. So, go get some chocolate cake, turn up the radio. Alright, so what they've given us, they can take away. And then you have to worry about that. Now that you've gotten that studio and you've moved into that bigger place and all of these things, and you're dependent on that, that podcast money and that YouTube money, now you got to be real careful about what you put out there, because they can take it away. And I think that what that has done for us is that the cream always rises to the top. You know what I mean? If people have a decent voice, they have something that's interesting to say, we're going to tune into them. We're going to tune into the Joe Rogan Experience. And just the different ways, okay, because I just brought up Joe Rogan. We'll talk just a couple of different ways that you can follow the Robcast is Robcast Radio on Instagram, Robcast Radio on YouTube, Robert Cole, Zombie in Parentheses on Facebook. Spreaker, don't forget Spreaker Podcast, the best podcasting network on the planet Earth. I just brought up the Joe Rogan Experience. You can also experience the Joe Rogan Experience on Spreaker Podcast, the best podcasting network on planet Earth. So check out the Joe Rogan Experience. Right here, it's right at Spreaker Podcast. Go on here, follow us, and we'll let you know whenever we've got something new coming out, anything rocking and rolling. And some of the other podcasts that I would implore you to check out on Spreaker Podcast would be Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. I like The Church of What's Happening Now with Joey Coco Diaz. I like the Adam Carolla Show with Adam Carolla. I like Philippe Esparza's What's Up, Fool? What's up, fool? I do not like some of the little round table of Joe Rogan's, only because they're click, and sometimes I don't understand, other than just being homeboys, why they would have each other on their shows so many times. So they do get it does get a little bit kind of the same thing. So I tend to not tune into some of those episodes. And normally that's whenever then I think I had to whenever Ari dosed Bert. I think I had to check that out. But again, I'm a sucker because again, that's probably all a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? Just like we fall for it, you know, as far as all the people that you know, I don't know if you heard about Ari Shaffir and what he made some sort of a joke about Kobe, and that went way worse than he thought that it would go. So he's apparently, Ari Shaffir's in hiding somewhere. So after that, I just say you get what the fuck, Ari. You know, I mean, I didn't think it was funny when he started the fucking Hurricane Harvey chant at the New York, at the World Series in 2017, whenever all of us motherfuckers were all flooded and underwater. And Ari Shaffir's the one that starts they were going, let's go Astros. Ari Shaffir starts a Hurricane Harvey, dun 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 dun. All right, yeah, that's just some douchebag bullshit that it would take the mentality of not just a troll that does it as fun, you know, as like this is a joke or whatever. Someone that actually gets a fucking hard on and gets their rocks off by saying really fucked up things. And I don't know. I don't get it. I think the dude has issues when it comes to all of the drugs that he does daily. Who has the proper mind? You know what I mean? You got to have your mind right. Mind, body, and soul, dude. Mind, body, and soul. Your body's got to be straight. Your mind's got to be straight. Your soul's got to be straight. And you can overnourish or undernourish one of those three things. And that's that three-sided triangle that if it's not balanced out, you fucking fall over, man. You feel me? You hear me? I'm saying? Woo! So yeah, a little interesting fact about Alanis Morissette, man. Her and old Uncle Joey were, she was going down on him in the theater. She was sucking his dick in the theater, dude. And he left her. He left her to be Uncle Joey on Full House. And she left him and said, you know what? I'm going to show y'all what's up with this next fucking little pop album. I'm going to call in motherfucking Flea. I'm going to call in motherfucking Dave Navarro. And we're going to sit down in the studio and jam. And they did. And she created some fucking awesome shit. So yeah, don't get it twisted about, the internet, the way that we communicate now. It's awesome. It's awesome whenever it's used for what it's intended on. You know what I mean? When it's not awesome is whenever people get lost into that and honestly think that they are living a real life inside, a 3-inch by 5-inch box or a 2-inch by 5-inch box or 3 by 3.25 by 6-inch screen. Or is it just a matter of time before we open our eyes and this is all we see anyway, because we're only looking down at it right now, breaking our necks, getting cramps in our hand from holding this thing? Isn't it about time that they just plant it into our brain, our cellular device, our mobile device, our tablet or whatever? I don't know. I kind of like the fact that there are a lot of people that are going anti-tech, to where they just have like a laptop and then they have, oh my goodness, personal computer. What's that? You plug it into the outlet at home. Oh no. Some people still have those. Well, some people are going with flip phones and a laptop. And that makes it to where you answer calls or you can do email, whatever. And the point that I always forget about is the screen size. It fucks my eyes up, man. I'm in my mid-40s, and I've only noticed recently from looking at a screen frequently, oftenly, and too much that, yeah, it has affected my eyesight. I think that's what affected my eyesight. I'm just getting old and can't see no goddamn more. I can't see no more. God dang it. I can see it's just not like the fucking Eagle Eye 2010 vision or whatever the fuck I used to have. Anyway, fuck it. We're gonna run this bitch till the wheels fall off. And I get into this fucking beehive mentality and how it can affect our society, our community, and just a real easy example is I have a friend, a younger friend, and he looks up an automotive part for his vehicle. Or, okay, let's even say better than that. I have a friend that was looking for a car. And I make a recommendation, being that I fuck around with cars. And, no, instantly, the millennial shot that idea down on my recommendation for a car because of the reviews. Nope, I've already looked at the reviews. I've read the reviews, all the reviews. Reviews. Nope, refuse. Like, okay, well, I guess that's someone that's, 17, 18 years older than you, trying to give you some real world advice on what to do whenever it comes to something that I deal with. And and I thought of that, and I'm like, okay, just the one small example is that, yes, this person looks at all of the reviews, but do you know how many of these reviews are real? Have we become complacent into just clicking on that and seeing how many stars it has and yada, yada, yada? Because we know that there are companies that give you rewards, you know what I mean, to give them 5 stars. I know that on eBay, if they offer free shipping, they get 5 stars no matter what. They'll send you a dick in a box. They're going to get 5 stars. 6 weeks late, fuck them in the neck. Because they offer free shipping, they get 5 stars. Because I got subpar service years ago from them, and I tried to leave less than 5 stars, and it was like, oh no, they offered free shipping, they automatically get 5 stars. I was like, that's something you agree to whenever you buy something with free shipping on eBay, is that they automatically get 5 stars. Do you agree with that? Initially, it was with all goodwill and faith that was made, that we are only going to offer our top sellers to offer their people free shipping, and that way we know that they're all of our 5-star people. And then once that got diluted into everyone that had that free shipping is going to get 5 stars, then the one bad apple, baby. The one bad apple. So I'm not saying not to look at reviews. I'm just saying that to not be able to go out and see and touch and smell and feel these things in person it's kind of a bitch. It's a world that we can get used to, but the human interaction with one another, we're always going to need. We're always going to require that. We're always going to need to get out there in public. And, that's why I appreciate you all listening to the Robcast. If we do decide to bring this thing on the road, you know what I mean? And we'd be able to go out and entertain some crowds. I don't know, I just wouldn't become 100% dependent on everything that you read, see, hear online. You've got to go out into the real world, touch and smell and feel shit on your own, one way or another, and make a judgment on your own. Another quick example is like things that we've actually done. Like people you think that if you watch something on YouTube 2 or 3 times, right, that, oh man, anyway, I can do that. And you're a dirt bike rider, right? You go out to the back 40 and you set you up a few little jumps and stuff like that. and it comes time to make a hot lap at the Astrodome just to see what you can do on, on not even the tough part of the track, just on a regular jump. I wanted the at a Supercross event, and without anyone being in the stadium, and without anything going on other than one or two motorcycles ripping around the track, I can tell you, whenever that reality sets in your head that you can just make one hot lap real quick, and you actually get on a bike, and either you do it or you puss out. You know what I mean? But just little realizations of that, like talking shit to mixed martial arts fighters because I'm a street fighter and I can fuck you up, man. I don't fight by no rules. Yeah, but dude, if you fuck with somebody that does nothing but punch people in their face strategically all day, every day, your street rules are right out the way. You're fixing to get fucked up. Straight up. You're fixing to get knocked the fuck out. And there's YouTube channels devoted to that shit. Right? I've always said that I like to see someone try to like grab Paige Van Sant and throw them into their SUV to attack her and take her and abduct her and rape her one day, because she will fuck you up, Jack. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be choked out in about 19 seconds. She will fuck you up. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah, don't mistake it. Real world skills. Whenever you've got that muscle memory and you've actually done things in your life, then whenever the reality kicks in that you need to entertain some of these skills, then they come back to you. You brush up on them a little bit and you're rocking and rolling. You're playing the guitar again, riding a bicycle again. You're, anything you haven't done in a while. You haven't done your old lady in a while. You can knock the dust and the cobwebs off of that pussy every once in a while. Dust it off. You probably figure out what to do with it again, right? But the flip side of that coin is if you've only watched a video on what to do with pussy on YouTube, or watched a video on, one of my examples is like how to clean a certain fish without, contaminating the meat. I've done it as a kid, clean different fish, but whenever it come time to clean a certain fish and I did not want to contaminate the meat, I'm thinking, yes, we can watch a YouTube video and we can actually perform those tasks, right? And as we perform those tasks, only then do we half-ass know how to do it. Once we do that task again and again, right, then hey, we can make our own YouTube video about it, but we know how to do that. But just by watching the YouTube video and not doing any kind of motion at all, other than watching it, without turning that from the ether into your brain, into you doing something with your hands, then that's nothing other than another memory in your head of something that you saw. And depending on the way that you saw it, because if you're even watching a video on how to perform a task, until you perform that task, there's different technique to apply to it to make it yours and to do it your way. You may even find a completely different way to do the same exact thing, right? But you've got to do it. That's the point. You've got to do something, right? Do we give too much credit for just what we've seen? Quote unquote seen, I'm holding up quote marks, when that is things that we've experienced through virtual reality, through the interwebs, anything that's not person on person, 100% real interaction, which it's kind of sad that that's getting fewer and fewer and farther between, that people do not actually interact with one another. And I think that the solution, right? I'm not going to come up with just some bullshit, just a vent. unless I have some sort of a creative solution, right? So what would I do is what I do, and what I will continue to do is to pass on teaching some of these real world skills, right? To all the makers out there, mad respect. You know what I mean? We need to continue to pass on some of these old world skills to young people, right? And don't just give them a fucking electronic device and ground them for fucking life, man. That's not the motherfucking sentence that I want our next generation to have. And let's not plant this shit in their brain. Let's figure out a way to keep it minimal and to keep our young people tuned in to the real world and what's going on around. Because we haven't even talked about how we're being controlled. I haven't even talked about how our society is fucking... I just... You get fed up with media in general and what's going on in your programming. Well, that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. Right now, we need to focus on, I would like focus on continuing to teach our young people real world, old school skills. Mine, one of them is building old motorcycles. And if you like old motorcycles, you like fucking with motorcycles, check out Robcast Radio on YouTube. Also, this audio and all of the Robcast audio is always available for all you little maniacs on YouTube. You can check it out while you are at work, while you're taking a jog, while you're walking the dog, while you're rolling in the water on top of a log. Or, for me, sometimes I'll be feeding the hogs, be smoking a hog leg, you know what I'm saying, with my buddy Craig. So here's to you, and the rest of your Monday, you go smoke a hog leg with your buddy Craig, and we are going to, I'm gonna end it here pretty quick before I get called in, or before my phone rings, or I get another message, or our signal is somehow mysteriously interrupted by the powers that be. I just want to say thank all of you little maniacs for tuning in, and we're just talking a little bit of cash shit, a couple things, man. Check out Alanis. Check out her pop videos. We'll talk a little bit about that maybe on the next episode. If you're a fan of the CBS program Big Brother, talking about programming your brain, CBS's Big Brother, where 100 cameras follow 16 people. Yeah, we will be all over that like a monkey on a banana all summer long. So all of you little maniacs, right on. Chris sold his guitar. Sold my white guitar. What do you say? To the tour manager, Foreigner. Rock and roll, literally. So anyway, look, when we are going to bring you what we've got when we got until the next time. If anything exciting happens, I'm only a moment or two away from you little maniacs. So all of you have a badass evening, even better tomorrow. And unless I think of any other brain busters, we will be out of here for the day. Yeah, I know, motherfuckers. If I did this every Monday, I wouldn't be having a raspy voice only 53 minutes and 41 seconds in. So that's me just talking a little bit of cash shit about myself. About, hey man, I've got to use my voice. I've got to try to reach you all every Monday over the weekend. They say not to put a Robcast out on Friday, but I don't give a fuck. I'll put it out whenever. It might be midnight, it might be 2 in the morning, it might be right now. It's pushing 10:30 a.m. on Monday. Leap year, February 29th. That was kind of a trip. Tomorrow's my older brother's birthday. We have to think of something cool to figure out for him for tomorrow. And yeah, Robcast did get a new motorcycle. Got rid of the Ninja. It's gone, and it's kind of, I can tell you, that's kind of a fucked up deal in itself, because so I'm thinking I need a side-by-side for out in the oil field, and I'm going to trade this ZZR 600 Ninja for a side-by-side, because I use one anyway. I don't know if I get the side-by-side and this bitch ready to fall in half. It's so crusty. I posted it and traded the Ninja for the side-by-side. The side-by-side is rusty, crusty, and dusty. So I just wholesale it off for what little bit of cash I can get for it. And then lo and behold, my brother ends up with a Goldwing. The GL 1500 6-cylinder boxer engine. Baby. And guess what? He already has one. So that's kind of interesting that he has a 99. He ended up with a 93. So I pick it up off of his hands. And now that means the Robcast has a vintage Honda 6-cylinder 1500cc Goldwing that I'm not, look, Flip's telling me to wrap it up. Look, dealio is, the reason I'm talking about that is because I will put a few videos together for you little maniacs that like to deal with motorcycles. You may have a GL 1500, and if you do, I'll put together a couple videos. You're welcome to check them out at Robcast Radio on YouTube. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Another day in the life of the Robcast, and the fact that we're blessed to be alive and have a voice for all of you little maniacs to you can listen to or not. The point is that we're blessed that we woke up today. We may as well do something positive with it, right? Listen to some good music. We've talked before a little bit about flow state, how to get that going, which I probably should have done a little more of today before I brought you all the Robcast. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I did a little, like 5, 6, 7, 8 karaoke songs just to try to strengthen up the voice just a little bit before. And I can tell you that 4, 5, 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, my voice was much stronger as far as that goes, which just like the instrument that your body is, man, you got to tune it up every once in a while if you want it to stay tuned. You hear me? I'm saying you got to work it out. You got to work it out, mind, body, and spirit. I have to remind myself that. I have to do this show to remind you to remind me to do that. You feel me? You hear me? I'm saying. And that's why I definitely appreciate having all of you little maniacs in my life. And through the trials and tribulations and the beauty and the success of what is reality, I'm glad that all of you are there and that I could have someone that I could share it with. And mainly someone to talk cash shit to, because it's cheap therapy and it's way, way, way cheaper, better, and has way better end results than actually going and seeing a psychotherapist. Nobody wants to do that. And even if they do, they don't want to admit that they did, right? So we've gone over all the different ways to follow the show. Check out Alanis from Canada, from her early days back in the 80s. Man, look, this is my last thought, and I'm going to leave it with all you little maniacs. You have that feeling inside you that is calling and like telling you that you want to learn something, a skill, a trade, a new job. Then the best thing that you can do for yourself is devote 2 or 3 minutes a day to doing that particular skill, or to learn that, or to look at YouTube videos on it. You know what I mean? To try to perform some task, 2 or 3, 4 minutes, whether it's to learn how to sing, or to dance, or to play the harmonica, or to learn jet propulsion, whatever that is. If you devote 2 or 3 minutes a day to it, that seed's either going to grow into 5 to 10 minutes a day, to 20 minutes a day, to potentially becoming a career that you can enjoy. And if that's a podcast, then I'm not. Look, I'll talk shit because there's not too many podcasts, right? Virtually, there are too many podcasts. You can't listen to them all. But what that does is the cream, like I say, the cream always rises to the top, and persistence always overcomes resistance. We're going to be here a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and Either, hey, it could just continue to get bigger and bigger. I don't see how until every single person on the planet had their own podcast and they were podcasting 24 hours a day. And people don't do that. People get tired, they get worn out, they don't get 1 million views, and they fucking give up and move on. That's not our cup of tea here. We're going to continue to press forward. We're going to move forward. We're going to grow, right? We want everyone to grow, and that means to move forward, to take a tiny baby step forward every day in life, and to not go backwards. You know what I mean? But what I said, that the one thing that I was going to leave you with, and then the dog started barking and shit, so fucking a quick zombieism, right? People live in the past about all the great accomplishments that you had in the past, and the one thing that I'll promise you is that it's history. It's behind us, it's done, and it's over with. And that's the beauty, and also the pain and the agony of the past, is that it is motherfucking gone. Right? We can make 17 lists of the shit that we're going to accomplish today, right? We're going to make a list, and we're going to write it down, and we're going to check it off, but we'll do that tomorrow, right? We'll make the list today. But we'll do what we need to do tomorrow. Fuck that. Tomorrow is not promised. What the fuck if we don't wake up tomorrow and we just died with 7 lists? So I don't say not to make the list. I just say to do it. To do something with your own 2 hands right now. And that's the way to become great. That's the way to success. You're fucking sitting around. It's not going to happen. Not going to do it. It's not going to accomplish anything. Do something with your own 2 hands right now. And why? Why do I need to do something with my own 2 hands right now? Why right now? Because right now is the only fucking time we have, dumbass. It's the only motherfucking time you have is right now. Tomorrow is not promised. We can make a fucking 1,000 lists for the rest of the day. But if we don't do it today, then the day is wasted. And the past is the motherfucking past. We can't live in it. So let it the fuck go. And with that, I'll let all of you the fuck go. All of y'all have a badass evening. Even better tomorrow. I am Zombie and I'm out of here for the day, bitches. Happy Monday. Peace.